Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you are having a blessed, beautiful day. Um, I'm just hanging out, and I was originally going to have a conversation with you guys about empathy and the difference between cognitive empathy, emotional empathy, and compassionate empathy, as well as how those are being utilized in today's society and how many of the people that we are following or buying into are using one of the three in order to get what they need or, come from a place that is self-serving versus actual relatability and coming from a place of sympathy as well. So originally that was the conversation that I was going to have with you guys, and I might, heck, whatever. I'm going to go into that and then I'm going to do another video because I feel like Spirit's got multiple different things being expressed to me right now, and I wanted to really just dive into it all. And if that means that I do 2 videos, then that means I do 2 videos. That's okay. So the difference between cognitive and compassionate as well as emotional empathy. So cognitive is the actual empathy that is learned. It's through thoughts. It's through a connection between two people where a person thinks about the relative perspective of what the person is expressing or going through, or different elements of that sort, in order to come to an understanding in which then they can empathize, which is quite different from that of empaths, or people that actually experience the empathy within their body. Now, what I'm noticing is that I'm just going to get into that one because that one is the one that I'm really, really noticing in today's society is starting to become prominent, especially with leaders and people who are in sales, and because that's what this world is all about that marketplace mentality that has been developing over the centuries, and the business mindset of you got to get this and you got to get that, and yet people want to appear to be in alignment with others. They want to appear as if they are empathizing while still finding a way to use that empathy as a tool to elevate themselves. So cognitive empathy, sorry, I had to get some liquid, my throat's a little wacky. So cognitive empathy is if you ever were confronted by a salesperson and the salesperson came to your door, and the reason I know this is because I've been a salesperson, I've done that, and when you're in marketing is sales, right? So I'm really, really bad with that because I tend to waver into more compassionate and emotional empathy, which is a great thing as well because it's coming from a true place versus some where it's really like ride or die, like I gotta eat, and this is how I'm going to manipulate the situation. It's actually manipulation in empathy, which is crazy, but it's a thing. And I'll be honest, I've done it, and that's how I know it's not for me. Does it mean that some of the skills that are being used within cognitive empathy should not be used thereafter, just because it's um it's not really my thing. No, I think there's some things with cognitive empathy where it can be used in a really good way as well, especially if the intentions within it. Um, go upstairs, Rosie. Go on, go upstairs. Go upstairs. Sorry, just a second. Nana, can you close that door, please?
Is she down there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Sorry about that. So, I think that it can be used in some ways as a really good tool for developing and for doing marketing and things like that, especially if your services are providing something that is of high impact and that's just the way marketing is. You have to almost overpopulate the market in a way of getting the individuals to you, right? So I've noticed the person that hurt me the other day, like he does that. He uses the cognitive empathy, which is directly related to um, knowledge and with like tips and tricks and perks and that sort of stuff. That's what you would consider cognitive empathy. So it's utilizing intelligence as a tool in order to manipulate or to create a sense of desire within a person in order to get them to act on a product or platform or certain things. This is the same thing that they use in banks. So when banks have, actually, I'm going to say in corporate worlds, because this is really what the big dogs use. Let's just be honest. They use this type of empathy and systematic understanding in order to gain the attachment and the desire of the population. People like facts. They're addicted to learning, they're addicted to knowledge. And if you can provide them enough facts to get them to feel empathizing within themselves and saying, oh my God, that's an aha moment. Oh, this is stimulating me. This is creating a connection where there wasn't one. Politicians, I was talking about banks, right? Banks will, for example, they will use the calculations of what is going on within your bank account to provide you with different resources and tools and offers and things of that style. And they will have a script. A lot of banks, okay, at least from when I was working at the bank, this is what they did. They provide a script for you to read out to your clients that utilizes the idea of cognitive empathy and and psychology in a way that creates a neural connection with parts of empathetic people, or people who are who tend to lean on more of a how do I explain it, more of a absorb, like they absorb things and they relate, the relatable clientele. Because a lot of people who are non-relatable, this is again, I could go on and on and on about this stuff, and I'll probably end up doing another video on this, because there's so much I could go into as far as the psychology of sales and tactics used by individuals in order to brand themselves, in order to be able to get a sale type deal. So but let's try to, I'm going to try to refocus back onto cognitive empathy. Anyways, yeah, this is a tool also that it can be very dangerous, because there are individuals that have disorders and certain conditioning within themselves in order to gain validation, to create like some kind of desire inside of them. And I don't want to say it's bad and I don't want to say it's good because I don't believe in bad or good, and I've said this several times before, but it is a manipulation. And when we realize that we are consistently being manipulated as far as televisions, as far as, all of these different things, there's consistent tactics being used to drive you into a sale. Okay. And so we feel the facts and the knowledge and things like that are of value. And when we see value and we register it, we want to buy it. We want to go into it. We want to discover more, even if we know all of the facts, even if we've already got something that's similar, even if we don't even need it. It's a way to connect with people who have emotional bases, who have cores that are and we're all connection based, right? Like humanity is based out of connection, so it's going to be everywhere. But sociopaths, narcissists, and there was one other one. Anyways, in the caliber of people within those brackets, they also tend to use tact, like cognitive empathy, in order to gain the trust of people who don't question, so that they don't question them or who won't question them. Anytime a person who has that type of inner core wounding and need for validation, they will tend to get a little bit like frustrated, in the sense of, if you were to um if you were to come to them and you were to disagree, or you were to say no, and you try to put up a boundary, or you try to do things like that, um cognitive empathetic people, unless they will usually react however they will, depending on what level of understanding they have of their reactions and how they communicate with people, and the best way that they can actually get people to see them differently, if it means that they are going to receive something in return. So a person could make posts, for example, highlighting different uh, psychological and or factual things in order to cognitively empathize with people, in order to gain following and to gain the attention of people within the bracket. Most people follow. Okay, so let's be honest, most people are followers. They like to follow, they lead, they like to see the knowledge, and it is in our nature to innately want to dive into ourselves, to want to do self-discovery. And if you don't, I mean, that's fine too, but I'm not saying everybody's like that, because not everybody is different. Okay, so, and I truthfully believe that, and there's a lot of people that try to put people into boxes. I'm not one of those people. I mean, I have my own visions of where I feel like there might be more people or less the people, but never. And one size doesn't fit all, ever. There's too many like situations and things that can happen that don't allow that to be the case. But relatively, there's always going to be a larger mass of people within different sectors of understanding that have been raised sociologically, culturally, that sort of thing, that's going to create puddles and pools of like people with similar construct of brain mentality. So Anyways, you're going to have people that in today's society, especially on social media and stuff, where they're going to just expose knowledge, they're going to try to uncover truths about different people, and some of which is not going to be their own facts. Let's just be real. People are out there to make a living. Okay? There are people out there that, really do truthfully want to make a difference, but sometimes they don't realize the repercussions of what they're doing is actually creating a mold. And for example, somebody with an avoidant attachment type, it may try to use cognitive empathy in order to create connection, in order to feel more like they have a secure attachment type style of being. So they would use cognitive empathy in order to connect, when in reality, they're not connecting. And narcissists too, they're not connecting on that root connection, via compassionate empathy, or um, emotional empathy is more in relatability to obviously your emotions, but compassionate is like a combination of like feeling it in your body, and like actually going into the place of the person and being able to put yourself in their shoes and see it from the truth of what they see it. So, uh, I could go into more on compassionate empathy or emotional empathy, but I'd like to focus actually today, I think, on cognitive empathy a little bit. So anyways, there are people, like I said, that are using it as a way in order to commercialize and sell empathy, sell compassion, appear to be one way. In reality, it is completely different. It's used as a tool. And I mean, I'm not going to tell you to be afraid of everybody, but what I am going to say is there are patterns and things that are very present in people who use cognitive empathy instead of emotional or compassionate empathy. One of those things is that they take the place of one position over another in a lot more regard. They also don't use personal stories, or if they do use personal stories, it's typically the same stimulus. Okay, so you're going to notice that there's going to be people that use like the same thing because it works. Okay, so um be aware of that. Be aware of, how can I explain this? Be aware of those who have conversations with you, but who perhaps use those conversations, and then after they have those conversations, you can see it's a pattern that they're just trying to like navigate people into their sales tax. Okay. Um, I mean, if you feel it's something you can learn from, I think we can learn from any situation, any program, anything that is really provided to us. But if you are involved in that and you end up disagreeing, or you end up saying something that's not in alignment, and they utilize that and they manipulate that, or you can tell that they're not telling whole truths. Okay, so the development of it, are they giving credit, are they um are they acting with integrity? Do they put in the work within the group that the others put in? Or do they rely on everybody else? Um, I don't know why I got into the group thing, but I guess that's because I'm relating it to my own personal experience with cognitive empathy and being aware of the tact that was being used in that, which um, it's a frustrating thing for sure, especially when you are an empathetic person and then you see somebody branding themselves with having empathy and all these things and highlighting, oh, well, this is why you have empathy. You know, people with avoidance attachment types will want to create more avoidance within the world. They're gonna be using things that help numb, help numb, but that will numb your ability to facilitate empathy through emotional um and like placement within. When we feel something, it's because it triggers something within us, right? That's fine. It's well known, but there's nothing wrong with that either. So if somebody's trying to tell you you can't feel some way or feeling that way, they try to like dissect it almost in the sense of it, you'll feel it. You'll feel the disconnect. The empaths will feel the disconnect. So all I'm saying is just be very aware. Empaths are being targeted right now by a lot of um, individuals in the general public and because they feel there's too many people that are emotional, and they think that, especially avoidance, they think that the emotions from those with other attachment styles, say an anxious attachment style, that's a problem. You know what I mean? Like they don't like it because it's the opposite of them, instead of allowing individuals to be as they are. They will um, try to change them. Okay, I'm gonna revisit back to stage one. I go on tangents, man. I start thinking about relatability to what I seen and what triggered me and what spirit was like, you need to have a conversation. Man, I tell you. And that's the thing is that the emotional the attack from cognitive empathy on true empathy, and how hard it's going to be if we don't see it and we don't work on that in order to prevent that from happening. The world will be overtaken by sales tactic, by psychological tact in order to um, run the world. You know what I mean? Like the world is trying to be run by this type of empathy, the sales tact empathy. And it's trying to take spirit, which is your emotion, which is your creative juice. It's your ability to thrive, and it's feeding into a system of cognitive empathy in order to withdraw the emotional and physical sensations to which somebody is feeling. It also numbs out love. It also numbs out authenticity. It creates cookie cutter people, if you know what I mean. Like it's like the Matrix when the people are being programmed in order to, they turn into the people in the matrix, you know what I mean, where everybody's the same. That's what will happen eventually if we allow cognitive empathy to take over emotional and compassionate empathy. And we have to be willing to say, I can do the work for me, and I can work with people, but I am going to understand myself, and I'm going to trust myself, and I'm going to trust my boundaries, and I'm going to do that. So, I mean, there's some good out there in the world as to what's being created and helping us get to this new level of being awake. But at the same time, like, please be cautious of what you're buying into, because that is how people manipulate, and then they use that as a way to elevate themselves. Okay, so please just be aware that idols do not exist. Okay, and I say that from the depths of my heart, because I truthfully believe that we idolize people to an absurd amount, and we just like seem to follow and just think it's okay. And I'm a leader of myself. That's how I believe that we all need to be. We're all sovereign. We all need to come to this level of like, I am who I am. And that's a lot of like conditioning from our past, and it's something that I've been teaching for a really long time. And my a lot of the lessons and stuff that I taught got kind of like taken from me in a sense, and revamped, and that's okay. I'm used to that stuff, but I just don't want people to get hurt, and I was hurt, and I mean, that's obviously an emotional thing for me too, why I'm bringing up this cognitive empathy. But I think that it's important to use those things that we go through in order to transmute and understand and bring forth the things that are really not sitting properly for us. Especially as empaths, I think we're going to have to come together, and we're going to have to really start working as one unit, which brings me to my other video, which I will be doing in a moment here. But love you guys so much, and if you want, I can talk about compassionate empathy, and I can talk about emotional empathy a little bit more. Let me know in the comments. If you feel connected to this video in any way, if there was any nuggets that you took, quotes, that sort of thing, please feel free to leave them in the comments box. You can, I'm saying a lot. Wow. Oof, I gotta really work on that. You can find me on social media and add me and post your quotes, and I will repost it to my page. We got to do this together. Us empaths, authentic beings, people who are honoring who we are and understanding that it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to have emotions and to feel those and to walk through them. I'm here with you, and we're not going to let people take advantage of us, and we will stop that from happening by being forward about the knowledge that's being, and tools and manipulation tactics that are being used currently. So, love you guys so much, and yeah, subscribe. I'll have some more videos. I'll do another card reading soon here as well. It seems like I've been doing a lot less card readings and a lot more messages, but we'll see what spirit kind of pushes me to do. I've always been more of a speaker in that sense than the tools of divination, but yeah, love you so much. Have a good day. Bye.